Good morning. A verse from the Atma Bodha by Shankaracharya, whose birthday was a couple of days ago. So that's a lunar birthday, different date for us every year. And it is the last of this tiny booklet of 68 verses. So it must have some meaning. Self-knowledge, Atma Bodha. So the self is the I am. You have the individual I am, the cosmic or universal I am, and the absolute I am. And the end will be the absolute for sure, which includes all. It is all inclusive. And it's just a poetic description of that which cannot be described or defined with language. Let us see. Om Digdesha Kala Dhyanapekshya Sarvagam Digdesha Kala Dhyanapekshya Sarvagam Shitarihirin Nitya Sukham Niranjanam Shitarihirin Nitya Sukham Niranjanam Yasvatmatirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha Yasvatmatirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha Sa sarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet Sa sarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet. This is a verse of 12 syllables in each quarter or in each line, and a particular pattern within that. So let me show again. Digdesha Kala Dhyanapekshya Sarvagam Digdesha Kala Dhyanapekshya Sarvagam Shitarihirin Nitya Sukham Niranjanam Shitarihirin Nitya Sukham Niranjanam Yasvatmatirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha Yasvatmatirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha Sa sarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet Sa sarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet. Now let us put together. Digdesha Kala Dhyanapekshya Sarvagam Shitarihirin Nitya Sukham Niranjanam Yasvatmatirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha Sa sarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet Sa sarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet. So, verses, mantra, verses, sentences, whatever it may be, sutras, are made of words, and a word in itself is already a whole universe. Some words are strung together in what you call a compound, grammatical compound. You see little hyphens we use, and some hyphens you cannot see. They're hidden inside because sounds melt together. So dig is direction in space. Desha is space or place or any location. Directions and locations. Kala is time. So time and space, basically. And adi means etc. So in our guru's teachings, writings, often he would say time and space, as well as cause and effect. But here it is adi, etc. There could be more. Anapekshya. There's an un here, which is not. It is un, like English negation. Apekshya means needing or depending on, expecting something. Independent of direction, space, time, cause and effect, etc. Sarvagam, all pervading, going everywhere. Sarva, all, ga is going, pervading everything. Shitari hrit, there is a sandhi, a change of sound. It was hrit. Hrit here is taking away, removing, transcending. Shita adi, whenever you see adi, it means beginning with the one thing and more and more and more. Beginning with something, there must be more after. We say etc. They say beginning with this and more of it. Understood. So you have cold, and what else do you have? You can have hot or heat. It's called all the pairs of opposites, because the one doesn't come without the other. This is what the universe is made up of. This is what our mind is made up of. Polarity, duality, which becomes infinite in scope, actually. So Shita Adi, from similar texts, it will be totally understood that it means cold as well as hot or heat, and good as well as bad, happy as well as unhappy, beautiful as well as ugly, all pairs of opposite, liking and disliking. You see, when you know life and when you know the context of this, you can add your own additional pairs of opposites. Now there's something beyond that. There's something beyond all of this. Hrit, the experience of that supreme reality, takes away for good the problem of duality and dualism, which can create conflict if it is not understood. So removing is impossible as long as you're attached to it. But in meditation, transcending, going beyond, that's what this is speaking about. Nitya, forever, eternal, eternally. Sukham, it is eternal happiness. Not the happiness that comes and goes. Again, there's nothing in the universe that lasts forever. The universe itself, according to science and according to these teachings also, this particular universe will not last forever. But the cycle is a forever cycle. So, Nitya Sukham, there is again something above and beyond it all. It is that eternal happiness or bliss of the Absolute, which is the source of everything. Niranjanam, Anja is a taint, some kind of pollution. Niranjanam, again, without any of that. Absolutely pure. And what is it describing? It is coming, tirtham. So Yah is the person who, let us take the verb first, bhajate, worships. Swa Atma is his or her or their own. Swa is one's own. Atma is the self, the I am. Tirtham is the... Tirtha is a lovely word. It's used for a pilgrimage place, a sacred place or space, even person. Here it would be more of a, abstract. One's own self. Worship, not anything out there or anybody out there, but naturally also the small self should worship the great self. It can't be the other way around. That would be associated with the ego, this individual I am. So the person who knows, even us, wherever we are, how to worship that great self of all beings, way beyond our personalities. Yah swatma tirtham bhajate. So the one who worships, the pilgrimage place, the sacred space or place of their own self, in their own heart. But vinishkriya, that's important. Nish is a negation here, V makes it more so. Kriya is from kriya, action. All our actions should be not ordinary actions, but beyond motivation, selfish motivation. It means without any selfish actions. Selfless actions, yes. Here selfish, of course, would refer to the individual being or ego, actually. Vinishkriya, it is a whole philosophy. It is again understood in a vaster context of Yoga Vedanta. This is called Vedanta. So when they say without any action, it means without motivation that is selfish. It's always the inner that counts. They say God doesn't see your actions, sees your motive. So theoretically, or actually, you might have two people doing the same action. One goes to heaven, one goes to hell. One has pure motive, innocent, and one has some ulterior motive. So vinishkriya means without any ulterior motive, without any selfishness. So both is needed, worship and no bargaining with God. I worship you and you give me that. Here I worship, but you cannot even worship your own self. So it is an interesting language here, but understood completely, correctly when you know the whole of the Atma Bodha, because we are not this little self, we are the great self as well. That person, so the yah is followed by a sah, itrapti. That person becomes sarvavid, from vid with a D, all-knowing, omniscient. Sarvagato is sarvagatah. Another way of saying all-pervading, omnipresent. And here is an a hidden, amrito is amrita, immortal, bhaved will be. That person will be all-knowing and all-pervading in their spirit form, their highest form. You become one with that. That is the goal and the purpose and the final end. Gata amrita, and that is the place of immortality, the great I am. So you detach from time and space and everything and go beyond the pairs of opposites in your own mind, and that means everywhere. The person who would worship the holy space of their own innermost self, without any ulterior motive, who has gone beyond the selfishness, that innermost space which is eternally happy, eternal happiness, absolutely pure, that person will become all-knowing, all-pervading, and immortal. Because they're not identified with the body anymore. The body will not become immortal. That is, again, totally understood. In Upanishads also, many places it says they become immortal, and each time we have to make sure people don't misunderstand. Doesn't mean physically or mentally, but they realize their own higher form, and that is immortal. Our Guru wrote a more poetic translation, a little bit enhanced. I will read that for you. Brahman is the name of that absolute, right? Brahman is independent of time and space, cause and effect, is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, is the destroyer of the pairs of opposites, such as love and hate, pain and pleasure, heat and cold, and is the giver of eternal happiness. The person who renounces all ulterior motives and selfish actions and worships that Brahman, the I Am, in the temple of the heart, becomes all-knowing and all-pervading and attains immortality in this very life. Makes nice sense. What is added by the translator, it is also making a lot of sense, because sarvaga, all-pervading, omnipresent, you will automatically be omniscient also, because when you are everywhere, you experience everything, you see everything as it is. And omnipotent, that's all you need. You can do whatever you need to do, but it is already beyond selfishness. Otherwise, omnipotence would be a calamity for the world. So it is all, nature makes sure that purity is attained first, and then omnipresence and omniscience. But it is only language that we make. We have to use some language to point at that which is beyond language. For me, Sanskrit is the next best thing to no language. It's got a beautiful rhythm and melody and expressiveness and meaningfulness and multifaceted meaning. Everybody can get something if they try. So let us chant again. I will show again. Many melodies also are there. Om Digdeshakala Dhyanapekshya Sarvagam Digdeshakala Dhyanapekshya Sarvagam Shitari Nitya Sukham Niranjanam Shitari Nitya Sukham Niranjanam Yaswatmatirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha Yaswatmatirtham Bhajate Vinishkriyaha Sasarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet Sasarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet. Together. Digdeshakala dhyanapekshya sarvagam Shitari nitya sukham niranjanam Yaswatmatirtham bhajate vinishkriyaha Sasarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet Sasarvavit sarvagato mrito bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.